and thank you for joining me in exploring another avenue on the path of the seeker. Today, we're going to continue to examine the maps of the psyche. We've already looked at Joseph Campbell's hero's journey cycle, and today we're going to step into psychology. We're going to take a look at Abraham Maslow's pyramid of needs. The key difference between Maslow and Jung or Freud is that he did not study or base his theory on unwell people. He studied the healthiest examples of people that he knew because he wanted to teach people how to reach their full potential, which he called self-actualization. Keep in mind that Maslow was not making a guide for the psychologically unhealthy to get better. He was making a general guide so that all of us could reach our fullest potential. Maslow identified specific needs that we need to meet in order to reach self-actualization. He arranged his hierarchy of needs in a pyramid in ascending order. The bottom step on the pyramid is the most basic of these needs, and that's the one that we are going to talk about today. The lowest step on Maslow's hierarchy of needs is physiological. This means you have to be able to meet your physical needs in order to reach self-actualization. This includes having access to clean water, having enough to eat, getting enough sleep, having adequate shelter, and having access to medical supplies. When these basic needs are not met, a person will dedicate their entire day to trying to fulfill these needs. If all you can do is think about being hungry, you don't have the ability to think about a new invention that will make life easier for everyone else on Earth. In the United States, this isn't really a thing unless people have deep psychological problems and are incapable of living in a house. This might seem odd, but there are people who cannot function adequately enough to afford an apartment and don't have the capacity to seek aid with the monumental amount of nonprofit help that exists in this country. They don't want to be dependent upon organizations to help them. They still have some luxuries such as cell phones and belongings. Our culture has a long way to go before we completely understand the situation and how to help these people. In other countries, which I have no experience with, there are people who live in horrible conditions and don't have access to these basic physiological needs. I can't speak on that subject because I've never known people who were poor enough not to have cell phones. Now, in the United States, eating is definitely where most people are lacking. Most people don't take out the time to eat a balanced diet. Instead of deriving energy from food, people will drink Monsters, Red Bulls, or go to Starbucks all day long, lurching from one energetic high to another. Yet these can have a dramatic negative consequence on people's health, keeping them on the physiological level. Science has proven that having a poor diet has a direct effect on a person's psychological health. I know I wasn't very educated and I didn't understand optimal diet until I read Edgar Cayce's Diet Plan for Optimal Health and Weight Loss by Simone Gabby. That's the first time I really understood proper nutrition. Based on Edgar Cayce's readings, here's a basic outline of what a daily diet should look like. For breakfast, either citrus fruit or cooked or dry cereal, not together. Lunch, raw vegetable salad with dressing or a fruit salad. Dinner, steamed vegetables with poultry, fish, or lamb. A trick to remember how much meat you should eat per day is to look at the palm of your hand. This will be roughly 4 ounces. Cayce recommends beef rarely and sugary treats even more rarely. Further, he recommends that 80% of our diet should be alkaline forming and only 20% should be acid forming. Here's a basic guideline of what this looks like. The majority of our food should be vegetables except dried beans, lentils, asparagus tips, and garbanzo, all fresh fruits except cranberries, plums, olives, prunes, and blueberries, almonds, chestnuts, Brazil nuts, and hazelnuts. Acid-forming food, which should only be 20% of our diet, includes all meats except beef juice and bone meal, all grains, cereals, and bakery products except for soybeans, all dairy except buttermilk, yogurt, raw milk, and whey, peanuts, pecans, and walnuts. For most of us in the United States, we should be extremely grateful. We have adequate shelter, medical supplies, clean water, and access to an incredible array of food. Other than a little modification to the diet of the United States, most of us take this level of the hierarchy of needs for granted. Our ancestors spent all day hunting and gathering just to sustain their tribe. Now we can run down to the local grocery store and buy whatever we want, the healthy and the unhealthy. In the United States, the only person to blame if any of these physiological needs are not met is the individual. Here is a wonderful quote from Abraham Maslow that really gets to the heart of self-transformation. What is necessary to change a person is to change his awareness of himself. Physiological needs are the most basic need that you have. Take care of your body because it's been statistically proven to affect your mood. If you look at anything in the health field, you can see the transformation people go through when they start paying attention to what they eat. You might not need or desire a huge transformation, but at the very least, be aware of good habits, and that can have a dramatic effect on your life. Thank you very much for joining me today. It means the world to me.
The way I love you, the way I need you, the way that you're radiant has